Welcome to Saudi Arabia. This is the King Fahd International Stadium, the setting for the final of the 5th FIFA Coca-Cola World Youth Championship between Portugal and Nigeria. The match set before the King here and before 45 different countries around the world. Well, there's plenty of the Arabian Nights in this tournament, unbelievable results, miraculous turnarounds, and a few villains thrown in for good measure. But this is the stage where it will all be resolved in this magnificent stadium, barely a year old, costing $580 million on the edge of the desert and the city of Riyadh. It holds something like 70,000. We're probably less than capacity here, but they're still actually coming in. We've had one game here already this afternoon. As dusk settles into night here, we've seen Brazil beat the United States to get third place in this international tournament. And Pelé will be presented to both sides. It's a bit difficult to remember that he's 48 years of age now, immensely popular here. Indeed, I suppose some people will remember that Pelé's last international tour with Santos in 1971 actually brought him to Saudi Arabia. In those days, there were no grass pitches, no big stadia, and although there were big crowds, very, very few facilities. He, in fact, was paid $8,000 a performance. Happy, of course, with the Portuguese, similar language, although he was disappointed, he said, that they beat Brazil to get this far. Just meeting the officials before he moves on to Nigeria, who he hopes, he said, will play their best game, and he tips them to win. Although, of course, he's a diplomat by profession now, so he covered himself both ways. But he's a player who, at the age of 17, was a world sensation. So he knows exactly what it's like for players a little bit older than him, when he was then in 1958 in the World Cup, to be in an international stage like this and to be under pressure. So, a great reception for Pelé before we hear the national anthems of both nations here. Check on the teams. This is the goalkeeper, the right back playing for FC Porto on loan, the left back of Portugal. Midfield player loves to get forward. The captain who plays in midfield. Helio is also a midfield player, very aggressive. He's coming in for a suspended player. He's a midfield player on the right-hand side. This is their youngest and possibly their best player. Another central defender. And Amaral is the man who scored the goal that beat Brazil. So it's a team that did well in the European Championship qualifiers, scoring a lot of goals. Here they've looked very compact, very professional, but have scored very few goals, which is something of a surprise. The substitutes include a 16-year-old goalkeeper, a bigger emphasis on forwards than anything else. Well, this is the new captain, the Tyson lookalike for Nigeria, plays up front. He's an outside left, 3 goals direct from free kicks. Elijah is a central defender, can play anywhere. Adipoju, a good midfield player, scored both goals in the semi-finals. He's 14 years of age, would you believe? A winger, he's played all the games so far. Big central defender, number 12, Chinedu. He's Charity, just been suspended. Midfield player, best goal of the competition probably. He's the right back, loves to get forward. And Amadi is a 16-year-old goalkeeper who's made himself the number 1. He started as a reserve. So by no means are they back to full strength because of 1 suspension and 2 injuries. They've never in fact fielded the same side twice, but somehow they keep coming up with the goods. And on the substitutes bench, Taiwo and Osundo, they're not in fact fit, so their options are very limited indeed. And the officials, the referee Aaron Schmidhuber from Munich, Bavaria, and the linesman Hubert Forstinger from Austria, and Tullio Lanese from Italy.
As 1989 nears the finishing line, we look back over the past 12 months to remember the most exciting, dramatic and important sporting moments.
So on a pitch freshly sprayed with green vegetable dye to give it a bit of extra colour. The start of the final of the 5th World Youth Cup. There's sure to be a new name on the FIFA Coca-Cola trophy. Portugal, the side who've taken root here in Riyadh, their 6th game on this pitch. Nigeria wandered around the kingdom, living dangerously, but now experiencing, like Portugal, their first ever final. Menji, who's one of their wide players. Remember, they're all under-20. A lot of them don't look like it, and there have been a couple of doubts about some of the age group. There's a problem for the 16-year-old goalkeeper, and for the defence, and Nigeria get it away with some problem. So Portugal showing they have teeth, as they have done throughout this tournament. Very compact, and alarms in Nigeria's defence. This is Ogaba, the young lad. Nwosu leaves it to Charity, who's just come back from suspension after he was sent off. Number 5, Elijah, and Chinedu play at the back. This is Onyemachara playing at right back. Nicely picked up by Jorge Couto. João Pinto goes over. Amaral picks it up. This is a regular first division player, Amaral. It's a useful cross. A little bit too deep. They're not particularly tall, the Portuguese, so there won't be anybody looking immediately for the far post. They're very much near post merchants. Felipe is tackled by the Tyson lookalike, Balogun. There's the Nigerian coach, and this is the right back. So Elijah for Nigeria. Ogaba, and a little bit of a hole. Ogaba challenged by Paulo Madeira and Morgado. Forward goes Jorge Couto. Inspirational sort of a name, Elijah, playing at the back. The other number 5, Morgado, much more experienced, played quite a lot in the Portuguese 2nd division. A foul by Chinedu. Well, one of the central defenders of Portugal was sadly suspended for this game, and he's particularly good with the free kicks. But it does mean that Paulo Madeira will come up, and so too will Franco Balido, the number 16. So it's Amaral and Morgado. Amaral has the ball, chipped up now, away with some difficulty by Elijah. A corner. Nigeria have conceded a lot of goals. Not necessarily Amadi, the young goalkeeper. He's forced his way into the side. He didn't start off as the first choice. They're always liable to ship a few, but they can score more than most anyhow. Short one again, Morgado, the left back. Good left foot, but the challenge. The coach doesn't seem to be too happy about the way they've started. So they're queuing up over the far side. There's a little bit of aggravation on the near post that the German referee wants to sort out. The big central defenders on there. And off the line when it looked as if Paulo Madeira should have buried that one quite easily. Paulo Madeira should have had that one, and it was Chinedu who was there on the line. He really didn't know much about it, but he got in there very well. Paulo Madeira should really have put Portugal one up. Now it's Morgado and Amaral again. Amaral making a good run. This is a very tricky player. Pinto with the shot, and the goalkeeper has it. And it's gone behind. It's a corner. And the young goalkeeper had an aberration there, and he was very lucky not to put it into his own net. This is a 16-year-old schoolboy, the son of a university lecturer. He had that ball, and suddenly he banged it behind him, and he could so easily put it straight in his own goal. So it's another corner. Short one back for Amaral. He's got a chance to get a decent cross in. The goalkeeper's struggling. It's fouled though. Well, a splendid start for Portugal, although they should really have been one up. Away down that flank goes Balogun, built like Tyson, and he shaped literally everything, including the gap in the teeth, the haircut, and the general build and approach to life. So Charity with the long throw. Oledameji. Narusu with the shot there. He scored a magnificent goal here to help them qualify. They needed to get a point against Czechoslovakia, and he beat about 5 people to do so. He wasn't too near his target then, though. So it's been a fairly dynamic start for Portugal. Nigeria, again a rearranged side, look decidedly uncertain in defence. Charity gets it away. Helio working well on it. ONN. Abel and Elio, that's a giveaway to young Ogaba, the 14-year-old, picked up by Balogun, and now Abel, the right back. Well, he must have been delighted that the scoreline remains blank at the moment. Good run by Jorge Couto, João Pinto, Helio, Amaral, João Pinto here, nippy little player, useful cross, away by Charity. This is Abel. Portugal really running things at the moment. Helio's cross, and managing to get in the way of it is Charity once again. He's saved things a couple of times. Takes up that position on the near post, which could be very important. It's going to be Felipe Ramos with the kick. Short one to Abel, wasn't particularly well done. It's got to be taken now by the Portuguese again. No, it's a throw-in. And an illegal throw-in. So a little relief for Nigeria. The Italian, no, it's a free kick. The Italian linesman there being very precise. I think it's pretty obvious that the Nigerians need a little bit of time perhaps to settle down. Onyemachara, Ogaba, Adipoju to Oledameji, now Charity, and Abel kicks it out. Beginning to get a little bit of football together. Balogun is beaten. This is Jorge Couto. Portugal pulling everyone back except João Pinto. Much Nigerian support. And certainly plenty of noise. Very little Portuguese support. Now Elijah. Balogun has gone really a long way forward. This isn't Nwosu. They're uncertain. They're not looking too confident. The best game is athletic, chasing, running, harrying, and some outstanding individual tricks. In the early game, they got very, very excited indeed early on, and they were going through tackles and challenging over the top and really making themselves fairly unpopular. The referee had a hard job. Tosé, he prefers to call himself in Portuguese Brazilian terms. So Helia with the quick throw. Here's Jorge Couto. I suspect that was more of a shot than a cross. But the coach here, Carlos Queiroz, has put together a side with only 4 goal scorers so far. They've scored only 4 goals to reach this final, which is quite extraordinary. Goalkeeper Amadi does a great job, but again it just bobbles out of his hands. Owen in forward to Adipoju, but that's gone out. Nigerians are struggling. Xiaopin beaten by Chinedu. So waiting for the ball boys to bring it back. Abel with the throw. Here comes Amaral. Turning well. Beats ONN. ONN comes again. Heavily strapped thigh. Nwosu challenged by Tosé. And back it comes to Elijah. Elijah and Charity, that's not bad 2 names to have in a fairly tough back 4. Well run by Valido Franco, picked up by Abel, chased by Nwosu. Good control by João Pinto, but Chinedu's onto him, and that breaks down. Throw to Nigeria. Just coming up to a quarter of an hour of the game gone, still 0-0. Very fortunate that it should remain like that as far as Nigeria are concerned. George Kuto does well. João Pinto has it. Down the middle goes Kuto, but he hadn't a chance in Hades of getting that. Well, that's not a bad ball or attempt by the 14-year-old, but that was a little bit over-ambitious. A high challenge halts the game. They're just beginning to show a bit of life in midfield. Abel getting one down the right-hand side and out. Well, it's remarkable that Portugal have won 4 of their games by just the 1 goal. Mainly, I should say, through missing chances rather than playing defensively and just pinching one and then locking things up. Although that's what they did against Brazil. Nwosu. Nwosu again, and that's a pinch by João Pinto. He's on his own. He needs a bit of support. He won't get it. João Pinto tries one, and the young goalkeeper covers it. Certain amount of movement up front, but not as much as usual. The Nigerians at the moment are looking a little bit tired. Felipe to George Kuto. George Kuto lining one up here for Felipe. Amaral looking fairly arrogant on it. Helio didn't look quite so cool. And Abel takes it away for the moment. And then it breaks towards Tyson Balogun. And that was a foul by Paulo Madeira. He isn't too happy, I don't think, Carlos Queiroz. They're letting the advantage slip away. Slowly, Nigeria getting their act together. Abel, Jose, and Helio. Amaral. Jose, a regular First Division player with a lesser First Division club. João Pinto. Can't get by Elijah. That 4-4 comeback against the Soviet Union. He was a central defender put into a forward position and he banged one in. And they really played some magnificent stuff. But at the moment they're a little bit inhibited and a little bit tired. Got a long way to go yet. Jose gets one in. Cut out by Chinedu. Picked up by Adipoju. ONN is very quick, but he seems to be restricted by that very heavy strapping on his thigh. Nwosu. And young Ogaba couldn't get it. Still chasing though. Felipe to João Pinto. Amaral through the middle. And no problems at all for the big right back, Onyi Machara. I'm not sure who's running for that one except the ball boy and the linesman. But I think they will reckon that this, at the moment, is a little bit lifeless. There's water bottles being passed around, very, very dry atmosphere here. A lot of static electricity, and your mouth is permanently dry, and you're always gasping for a drink. Even now into the cool of the evening. played by Paulo Madeira. That's a good ball to Felipe. Into Amaral, and João Pinto took a swing at it. Amaral going. Amaral, a good burst here. Wide to Jorge Couto. Oni Machado does well to keep him out, but he's lost him. It's a good cross. Charity's going for it again, and that's two good bits of work there. But they've got it well wrapped up. And goalkeeper Bizarro has had very little to do in the first 20 minutes. Forward to Felipe's harassed by Narusso. Here's Jorge Couto. Nice bit of play to Morgado, the left back. Can he keep it in? He can't. I'm afraid that's out. Oladimeji, one of the many students on this Nigerian side. Most of their players are picked through the schools and universities. It's not a place where it's easy to find the village footballers or from the outlying areas. Elijah, bad one, although ONN takes it away. ONN with a big left foot. Now he might be able to fire one in here. Done well to check it back. ONN with a right foot. Well, that brought things to life. ONN is the 17-year-old Nigerian who unbelievably has fired in 3 direct free kicks with his left foot from completely ridiculous distances. With that, with his right foot, and that was encouraging. Taken by Franco Valido. It's a throw to Portugal. Side who suffered in the last year or so, as is their national football, because of the influx of Brazilians who've made it difficult for young players to get games in the senior sides. You can get a cheaper Brazilian very much more easily, and there's a reciprocal nationality agreement between Brazil and Portugal. So these players were actually short of match practice when they came here because they cannot get in the first and second division sides because of Brazilians. But they certainly look pretty sharp while they've been here. Nigeria just introducing professional football. But you can't be a professional until you're 18. And it goes again. Some sort of progress then for Nigeria. And this is the hop, skip and the jump merchant on Nimachara. And winging its way in. It's not a bad one. And hit by Charity. By Elijah rather. Way over the top. Valido again taking the goal kicks. Nicely controlled by Amaral, but Nigeria winning a few balls in midfield here. ONN looking for Adipoju. Well won by Morgado. Good play by Felipe. Chased by Odaba. Back to Felipe again. Elio with support from Abel, the right back. It's a great run by Abel. And Jorge Couto misses it. That really was a half chance. Oladimeji goes for the return. The winger who likes to have a run in front of him is this Oladimeji. Balogun gets into the middle, it's over his head. But coming up on the far side is ONN. He can retrieve it and fire it back in. Somewhat a wasted ball though. Charity to ONN. Traditional dress, of course, for the Saudis here. A little bit of irritation from the Nigerian bench. And a long throw from Charity. Quite a good one, and Adipoju still fights for it with Abel. But the whistle's gone. This is a fine midfield player, Adipoju. Very good coming through from midfield and getting his head onto long crosses, but so far very, very quiet indeed. Well, many people here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia were disappointed that Brazil and the Soviet Union were knocked out in comparatively early stages. Certainly the two most exciting sides. Probably the next most talented team was Iraq, who should have beaten the United States in their quarter-final, but got overexcited. But here we've had two sides who have contributed a great deal, but can't find the openings at the moment. Good bit of play by Helio, and a free kick given against Felipe. Quite a few of the Brazilians using nicknames, Brazilian style, some of which you'll get on caption, some of which you won't. Olivia Meiji. Away by Morgado. That's a bad one. And there's far too many mistakes of a basic nature. The goal, I'm sure, would ease the tension, and perhaps João Pinto is the man to produce it. Certainly waiting a little while he gets support. It's a good ball inside to Felipe. Felipe can get one across here. Far too deep, although Helio will chase it in vain. Felipe struggled a bit when he slipped on that one, and he seems to be in some pain. He's having to twist to get the crossover. Felipe Ramos, Ahmadi's seen him, and so's the referee. Well, that was an awkward situation as he got onto the touchline, the byline. He tried to hook one back and twisted something quite badly, and he's off the field of play as the game is resumed. Now a little bit of an opening here, but not for long. Valida Meiji, well, that's a shocking clearance, but he goes straight to Valido. And a foul there by Elijah. So this is Felipe Ramos, who wants to come back on. There's a few substitutes ready to take over. No point in him coming on from behind the goal. He'll be clearly offside. So he trots up the touchline. The referee waves him on in the left wing position as João Pinto and Amaral try to conceive something over there. And it comes to Felipe. It's coming from the left wing position. It's a good cross. Goalkeeper's in trouble. And put over by Amaral. And young Amika Ahmadi, the 16-year-old goalkeeper, is having a few problems. A tricky cross, possibly, but having gone for it, he's got to lock it up, and Amaral was wasteful. Charity over Elijah's head, picked up by Adipoju. Nice little touch by Amaral, a regular first division player. Is Morgado. Will he try one from there? He's looking for a short one. João Pinto can hit one. There was a target, quite definitely, and he knows it. A 17-year-old possibly, but he's got a lot of experience. More experience than the goalkeeper who left him a target there. It was a nice run by Morgado and a good ball. Good running by João Pinto, and the goalkeeper was some way off the near post. So Amadi is living somewhat dangerously. He did superbly in the penalty shootout against the Soviet Union, saving one at a good second half when he was brought on at half-time. But he's looking a little bit uncertain here. Chinedu. The marking at the back is very tight, so they've got to organise something through midfield. Some good passing. This is Adipoju to ONN. He's got rid of the strapping on his thigh now. ONN forward to Ogaba and put out by Valido. 31 minutes of the game gone. It's a corner for Nigeria. And support for them as this one is driven over. The goalkeeper's in trouble. A whole knot of white shirts competing for him, and appeals by the Portuguese that one or two of them were leading and fouling. Good play by Morgado. The touch by João Pinto wasn't quite there, and Felipe is having to battle. And that's a free kick and a yellow card, I'm afraid. That's Onyemachara. He has already been sent off, and that was against Portugal in the qualifying game. He was suspended for only one match because it was 2 yellow cards as opposed to one very bad foul. Nice little turn by Adipoju. They're very, very solid in the way they work together, though, the Portuguese. And this is Amaral trying to work a little bit of space for João Pinto. João Pinto doing a great job here. Kept out by Charity. Olida Meiji. Great runner. Good marking, though, by Paulo Madeira. Jorge Couto. Hopeless for Amaral. The pace of the game raised a little bit by the Portuguese. They always look as if they can get through this Nigerian defence. But can they finish? Rosso. Charity. Elijah and Onyemachara. Might have to try the big one now. And it's a pretty poor one and easy for the well-organised Portuguese midfield to pick up. Quite a hopeful one from Jorge Couto as well. Felipe should have had it. Now Nwosu. Away goes Tyson Balogun. Oh, he's through him. Balogun can pull it over here. Should have done better, but it was well blocked by Valido. And back they come again. Charity. Into the hole. Nicely done by Adipoju. Back to Chinedu. ONN. Nwosu. Better play now by the Nigerians. Moving it around quite nicely. Oludemeji. Against Morgado and George Kuto. A little bit more life in the Nigerian play now. They're shaking off their tired legs after the two very, very tough games in the previous matches. Hop's given a jump. Good defending at the moment, but it's not clear yet by any means. Felipe should have done better with that one. Portugal pushing right up. Regrouping now. Tyson gets involved there, but now it's Portugal on the break. Long ball fall for João Pinto, and it's nicely cut out by Chinedu. Everything they do, they get a round of applause. You can tell where the Saudi sympathies lie. Oludemeji to Nwosu, looking much sharper now. Adipoju, will he go for one? Well, roars of approval for Miku Adipoju, but really, although they enjoyed it, he might not have done, and the goalkeeper was not unhappy about it. Tyson beaten by Paulo Madeira. Oludemeji, not a good ball, although Nigeria do well to keep possession. The African champions, who came here as one of the favourites, ran into trouble with disciplinary problems as much as anything else. Nice bit of play for Morgado to get one in. Easy cut out. They're not big enough for long, deep crosses unless you can pick a man out exactly. Amaral. Morgado here. Felipe. Morgado again might be able to get one over. And it should really have caused more problems for Amadi. That's a real waste. And I wouldn't think the coach would be too happy about that. I think there's no doubt about it that the nature of this competition in this particular climate and the travelling with so many games, 3 in the first round, then a quarter-final, then a semi-final, all coming fairly fast on one another. Young players are finding it quite difficult. Oh, and then to Peter Agaba, the 14-year-old. Chinedu. Onyemachara. Ripe old age of 19. Onyemachara again, but the defender should have that one, although it's not an easy one to get away. He's got support from Morgado and time. And the Nigerians could really have squeezed up on that one, but they might be able to pinch it back here. Throw in. Away by Elijah. Nice touch on by Nwosu. Is Oludemeji. Nice play to Nwosu. Good chance here if they can cross it. Looks like ONN coming in. Did well to get on the end of it, especially swinging that massive left foot of his, but the defending was good. There was an opening there. The cross was bubbled off towards him, but the defender did well to get across and concede only a corner. But no doubt about it, there's much more life from the Nigerians now. Referee asking Olaimeji to hurry up to retrieve the ball. He's certainly taking his time about it. Up here we've got Elijah, Charity, and Adipoju, the number 8, who's particularly good in the air. So, Olaimeji with the corner. And that was desperately close as Nwosu flicked it on. And a pretty putrid shot from Chinedu. 19-year-old, another student. Well, they seem to be enjoying themselves, but I think most of us would enjoy it more if somebody could finish a move off. But there's a free kick for Portugal, with 4 minutes of this first half remaining. Jose, the captain, and Helio. Now Helio working it to Abel, the right back. Abel on a good run. George Couto has got support on the right-hand side from Helio. Now the cross, but Charity did his job. Abel. Going at Charity, long leg, tucks out and gets it. Doesn't clear it very well though. Adipoju loses it to Amaral. Amaral, a good run, but he comes tumbling down. Charity, the culprit. It's not getting too much sympathy from the assembled Saudis. Incidentally, there's a levy on tickets here for this championship, half of which goes to the handicapped in the kingdom, half of which goes to the Mujahideen in Afghanistan. But the Bedouin Arab tent effect is absolutely spectacular. Certainly I would have thought the best stadium in the world. But meanwhile we concentrate on more important things. Big centre defenders are pushed up. Abel and George Couto. It's not a bad cross. Swung at it by Valido. And Nigeria will enjoy that. Less than 2 minutes to go before the half-time break. I would have thought the coaches of both sides would be pleased to get at their players and make a point or two. Onyemachara. Chinedu to Charity. ONN on the left-hand side, and Charity's made a mess of that. It's out. Can they take a quick throw? The marking there isn't particularly good, and João Pinto has it. João Pinto with a chance. And that's a brilliant effort. Well, Amadi and his defence can blame themselves when Abel picked that one up. Abel with a terrific drive. Charity literally gave it away, and Abel, the fullback, really punished them. It all started from a bad throw, a bad mistake. Then Abel just swings his left foot. He's a right fullback, remember. And that is a marvellous goal to open this account in the World Youth Final. George Couto couldn't get it, but the fullback could. And it's 1-0 to Portugal. So on the stroke of half-time, Nigeria give it away on the left-hand side, and Abel makes it count. Now here's George Kudo going again. George Kudo once more. It's not over yet for Nigeria. Play on. Well, no doubt about it, Portugal reacted very well and very quickly, and that is the end of the first half, which has ended in tragedy for Nigeria. Ironically, Charity made an awful mistake on that touchline over there. The throw was very quickly taken. João Pinto made the very early run, the number 14, and although George Couto couldn't get his shot in came the fullback Abel, and off they go into the dressing room, leading by 1-0. The Nigerians remain on the field, praying, hoping, talking, but they can blame not the heavens, but themselves for that one. And indeed, in the early stages of the first half, they could easily have been a couple of goals down. They looked so jittery in defence. But they have picked up in the later stages of this first half. They created some good moves without really opening up the Portuguese defence, but then disaster, charity if you like, at the back has led in the Portuguese, and they're leading by that ominous score of 1-0 here in Riyadh. We'll be back for the second half.
Well, it looks as if the official attendance here will be swelled by the arrival of the King and his vast royal entourage. King Fahd bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, custodian of the two holy mosques, his most popular title here. One of his sons, Prince Faisal, is the president of the Championship Organising Committee, so it's an event which has had considerable royal backing.
So Amadi picks that one out quite comfortably. The King is here. The royal occasion has taken a little bit more shape, but more shape is what really the Nigerians want in their defence, and up front they haven't sparked anything like they can do on this occasion. They have more life in the game where they played in qualifying, where in fact they lost 1-0, but really lost control of themselves in disciplinary ways. But they certainly played a bit of football and kept battling, and perhaps were unlucky with one or two of the decisions, but they'll have to pick themselves up if they're going to get back in this one. Now, because of the problems of injuries, it means that substitution is a difficult decision for the coach. He's only really got two players who are fit on the bench. Well, in previous World Youth Finals at this level, in 81, West Germany won in Australia. In 83, it was Brazil in Mexico, then Brazil in the Soviet Union, and 2 years ago in Chile, it was Yugoslavia beating West Germany after extra time. So in terms of continents, it's 2-2. Now, for the moment, it's the Europeans leading the Africans. Well in by Helio, away by Valido Franco. Good challenge there by Charity. Olida Meiji with Chinedu overlapping, loses it. Peter Ogaba. Cut out easy by George Couto. And Morgado, the left back, can't get it. So we await a substitution. This is Philip Osundo, who has an ankle injury and wasn't fit to go in the starting lineup. The player coming off is, I think, either Tyson or ONN. I haven't had a clear indication of that. So it was Tyson who came off. ONN is fighting for it here without the strapping on his thigh, so perhaps he's had a miraculous recovery. And Portugal bringing a lot of players back as usual. Chinedu stepping aside, George Couto looking for Noroso, starting with a little bit more purpose. Sundo, Noroso wins it back again. Noroso with the shot, and that was well gathered by the Portuguese goalkeeper, getting royal approval. There were two cameras in that royal box trained on the King all the time. Can't be too much fun to know that at any stage of the game, whatever you're doing, they can bang up a shot of you. João Pinto. Great danger now, of course, is that the Portuguese might pull even more players back in the midfield. ONN to Noroso, Ogaba, back to Chinedu. Elijah. I would think the Nigerians might have had a bit of a rocket at half-time. That's if the Nigerian commentator to my right was anything to go by. Offside there. He was going completely berserk during the half-time interval. But a little more refined approach from the royal box. Onye Machao, the right fullback, to Chinedu. Charity almost caught out. The Charity has pinched it offside. Charity was again the culprit there. But as Felipe put that ball forward, there was no doubt that the Portuguese was offside. Amaral. He can't be doing much for the Nigerian coach though. Oh, that's another giveaway. Forward goes George Couto. Good job, Pinto in the middle. Pinto comes in. Amadi, the young goalkeeper, did a good job. Swinging it wide, and Nigerians racing onto the ball are at their best. Noroso, he's kept it in, but he couldn't keep his feet. Might be a bit of space here for ONN. ONN has a good left foot if he could just get a swing at it. So really that wasn't so smart from there. He was going away from the target and off balance. But ONN is the player who destroyed a few Saudi dreams. He scored from a free kick from at least 35 yards in the last 2 minutes of the game against Saudi Arabia to give Nigeria a 2-1 win. And that cut the attendance by a half at least in the next game. Amaral, nice little touch to Felipe. Amaral goes again, but Amadi is there first. Using the ball much quicker. Charity, poor one. He's a central defender. He doesn't look too happy on that touchline. Elijah Uleda Meiji forcing Osundo to come back. Uleda Meiji. It's a good run. Corner it is. So Chinedu, Charity, and even perhaps Elijah will come up. And perhaps Charity could level the scores here with ONN and his powerful left foot to swing one in. There's a tricky wind blowing in off the desert. Away by Felipe. ONN again. Now puts it up to try the right foot. Jose has it. Felipe and a rebound gives it back to Nigeria. Uleda Meiji. Jorge Couto intercepts. They do things in numbers, the Portuguese, in very professional style. They've been together this side for the best part of 3 years, going through different age groups. Run by the substitute Osundo. Can't get by Morgado, but gets it back again. And a foul there. So Uleda Meiji to bang this free kick over, deflected away for another corner, for some encouragement for the Nigerians and their supporters. Still we have Charity and Chinedu up there, and here's Peter Ogaba. Well, that would have been a moment of drama for the 14-year-old if that one had gone in. But another deflection. Can you believe he's just 14 years of age? But here they come again. Chinedu gets up. Olatunde Disu, the coach nearest us, must be a little bit encouraged by their start in this second half. Not too much, I'd have thought. Charity. Easy one for Jose. Ogaba. Nwosu. Onyemachala. Adepoju chasing this one, but it's comfortably covered and put high into the stand by Valido Franco. So the chance for Onyemachala, and the Hop's given a jump to get one in. Away by Franco. Ogaba puts it back in again. Now Elijah. Onyemachala wide out there. Valido doesn't clear it totally, but it's a good ball from Morgado to João Pinto. Elijah's very quick. An embracing arm from João Pinto. He wins it back again. Pinto can't beat Elijah. And the defender did very well. Here's ONN. In the early games they were drifting by players and certainly getting into the spaces by their own skill. Now clearly they're much more tired. ONN gets another go. Adepoju, and the ball to Philip Osundo, not quite good enough. But they certainly have their tails not quite up, but off the ground at the moment, and with just 13 minutes of the second half gone, still 1-0 to Portugal. And I don't think Carlos Queiroz, the Portuguese coach, is quite so happy as he was. Charity does a good job. Osundo is on his own up there. ONN. Better ball to Philippe Osundo. He should be able to get a cross in here. This can't be doing his ankle injury a lot of good. He failed the fitness test, but he's been forced onto the field really because they're so short forwards. So Charity with a throw. Well won by Rosuno. Away goes Amaral. He's got a bit of speed if he can get the ball in front of him. He's got João Pinto on his left. Portugal in real trouble here. And João Pinto should be able to get a shot in. Has it gone too far? Now Amaral with a chance. Well, they're right to leap up in anguish on the bench because that should have been a chance. Two openings really for Portugal to really wrap the whole thing up. It's a good ball down the middle. João Pinto then pulls it back and over the top. And more Portuguese flags emerging. Morgado, very difficult one for Jorge Couto to chase. Philippe Osundo loses it to Morgado. Into Felipe. And that's a good bit of covering by ONN. He loses out to Helio. And out comes Amadi as Jorge Couto came in. Good marking by Valido. There's a lot of space here now for Portugal. He might be able to do something with this. Through the hole, but not an accurate hit at all. Also to Olida Meiji, the wing, who's come into the middle to try and get a bit of space and possession. Olida Meiji, Philippe Osundo, good opening here from the right back on Machara, a foot, and Portugal are safe. But the flag has gone up, so we can halt play and we can get a bit of treatment for Olida Meiji. He's 17 years of age from the Julius Berger club, like 4 or 5 of the players here. But in no way can they withstand more injuries. The coach has been unable to put out the side in the shape he wants. He's got one very good player completely ruled out today. Obade, who's played in a lot of international competitions for Nigeria, was the captain of the under-16 team that won in Chile. Not a desperately good kick by the central defender. But Portugal pick it up again. Helio. Amaral nicely down to Felipe. João Pinto looking for the return from Amaral, and that wasn't a particularly good one. Nuoso turns away well. Oh, and it's a bad one, and now there's an opening here for João Pinto. Portugal are pinching quite a few. Add that to the fact that Nigeria give away quite a lot, and it's surprising it's only 1-0. Peter Ogaba to Chinedu and Elijah. Meiji. Tackling, the marking is very, very good by the Portuguese. It doesn't always make for a free-flowing game, but they certainly know what they're doing. In the European Championship, they were pushed very, very close through most of their games. They scored quite a few goals, and in the end, they were only denied the European title by the Soviet Union, who beat them in extra time. And no way was Meiji going to get that cross in. So tightly policed there. That's another one for Onyemachara. Perhaps we'll have a hop, skip and a jump this time to give it a bit more length. Leaps off the track onto the pitch. And a foul there by the Nigerian, a high challenge. Well, apart from the main trophy here, awaiting in the royal box for a presentation afterwards, there's the trophy for the best player and the highest goal scorer. I don't think there's any way a Portuguese is going to win that one, because they've scored 5 goals all through different players. The leader at the moment is Solenko of the Soviet Union with 5 goals. Quite a number on 3, including 3 Brazilians. But I think that is one trophy that's going to evade the players here. What about the trophy for the best player? Well, the favourite is Bismarck of Brazil, or a couple of the Soviet players who are now long at home, having been knocked out in the quarter-final by Nigeria. But I thought that João Pinto, the number 14 of Portugal, might have a chance. Amaral turns it back to Abel, the goal scorer. Silva, his official name, but Abel is his football name, which is his first name, in fact. And here goes Amaral. Will he try one? Well, he's, in practice, quite good at hitting those. And he has had a lot of experience in the first division with Vitória Setúbal. 18 years of age. You would expect him to do a little bit better sometimes, but they're leading by 1-0, and we're more than halfway through this second half. Chinedu forward, away by Helio. Now, Onyemachara. He likes to run down the right, but Portugal are very quick to close that channel down. Chinedu over the top, and they won't have to bother too much, and the Nigerians really are scratching for ideas. Nicely done, but it's picked up by Nworso, who's again very tightly marked. Their 2 best midfield players are the number 14, Nworso, and Adipoji, the number 8, and they have been very tightly marked throughout. So the tiredness of a 2-week competition, I think, is quite clearly showing. A bit of exasperation from the Portuguese bench. It's a free kick. Amaral and Abel. Amaral on a good run. Turn inside. Amaral with a chance to pull one back. And very nicely controlled indeed by Onyemachara to kill it all off. Just a little touch by Paulo Madeira, but it might not be enough as Filipe Asundo with the damaged ankle takes a tumble, and that's going to be a yellow card, I think, for Paulo Madeira of Portugal. But for a player who's already injured with ankle trouble, that could be quite a problem. But he appears to have recovered, and I think this might be an opportunity for ONN, the number 4, to give it a bit of leather. ONN goes for it. And Portugal clear quite comfortably, but straight to Nigeria, which was a bit wasteful. Charity. Good challenge by Helio. What a good player he is. He's another one of those first division squad players who's on loan to a second division side. Amaral. To the room for Charity. Nwosu, no room at all. Very, very tight they played together in all areas of the field. I wonder if he's enjoying this. I bet he's looking for a few more goals as well. Charity now, trying the hopeful one forward, trying to get it back to Nwosu. Nwosu has done well to get it over to ONN. This is more like it. ONN with a good cross, a good leap by Adipoju, who's got it again. He's recovered quicker than the Portuguese, and the linesman flag flutters. It's out. That's more like it from the Nigerians. If they could just get a bit of a break, a little bit more drive up front. But the Portuguese have played it so well. Goal kick. Quite extraordinary that the Portuguese have conceded 3 goals, and that was all in one game. They'd already qualified in the first group when the last match came up against Saudi Arabia, so they pulled a couple of players out, and the Saudis, who had relaxed a little bit, the tension had been on them in the first 2 games, played quite well to beat them 3-0. But it wasn't the result that mattered one scrap. And all the other games, they've won by 1 goal to 0. George Couto against Onyemachara. A little bit of nail biting, I imagine, at this stage, but it's been a very good tournament for the Portuguese and for their coach, Carlos Queiroz. George Couto. Sometimes you'd wish they'd take a few more chances, but you can't deny they do things together well. Filipe Asundo is making a good run up front if they can hit him with a long ball. But it has been rather delayed, and it's given to the packed midfield, and it's Amaral on a run and into a cul-de-sac. But again, it's given away. Amadi has to scramble a little bit for that shot from George Couto, number 6. That's an easy one for the double covering Portuguese defence. There's acres of space up there for Morgado, the left back, to get it forward. That's a pretty poor one though. In there well by Felipe. Through to João Pinto. João Pinto's got space on the left from Amaral. João Pinto going for this one. Again, an opportunity to finish it off and wasn't really taken. Lovely move though. Scooping it up over the young goalkeeper. An all touch from Amaral. Up it goes and over. Trying to place it wide to the goalkeeper's left. So still at 1-0 with 15 minutes left. Nigeria are still in it and they should really have been out for lunch already. Nice turn though by young Peter Ogaba. Picked up by Nchuano. And big ONN has a little drive. But it was way off target, I'm afraid, and that's another problem cropped up for the Nigerians. More injuries. Well, there was a shot which dropped onto his left foot. But you can see how comfortable the goalkeeper was. Nigerians are desperately tired now. The view over the royal box into what is certainly now the most spectacular stadium in the world, and certainly the most expensive. Morgado's a nice ball to João Pinto. It wasn't strong enough though for Jorge Couto. Charity. Rosso is moving around up front. Filippo Sundo is chasing this one, but as you can see from a wide shot with 15 minutes left, the Portuguese seem to have 7 players back against the 2 that Nigeria seem to get into attacking position. Now Jorge Couto. It's a good run by Jorge Couto. Will he go for it? Oh, he scored! And was that an error by the young 16-year-old goalkeeper, or was it a stupendous shot? Again, picking up the loose ball from midfield. They've broken with tradition. They've scored 2 goals in a game, and it's Jorge Couto to get the second, and surely pushed this game way out of the reach of the Nigerians. He waited and waited, he hit it. The goalkeeper, I'm afraid, makes a young goalkeeper's error. Well, he did well to get into a striking position, but the goalkeeper should have had it. Well, Jorge Couto doubling his scoring ration. He got the goal against Costa Rica, which was in fact a very, very good goal to put them into the against Colombia, to put them into the semi-finals. Now he's got 2, Portugal have got 2, and I can't for the life of me see Nigeria getting back into this one. With about 12 minutes of the game left. Well, I'm sure they'll keep running and keep battling, but they haven't got too many ideas, and there's not a lot of inspiration up front. And there's a chance now for Portugal to break again. They don't seem to be too satisfied with that 2-0 scoreline. The reserve goalkeeper rather ominously warming up there. Banged in by Jose. The goalkeeper's coming for this. Oh, he didn't need to catch that. Now, João Pinto, wide to Jorge Couto. Lazy ball. Nice little touch to Oludameji. Nigerians streaming forward in despair almost. Jose, the captain, with not a particularly good clearance. Again, Jose, the captain, doing the job. But when you compare the experience of the Portuguese and the Nigerians, there should be only one winner. Charity lobbing one in. Helio gets it away. Jorge Couto. It's a free kick. Well, now would be the time to invoke the Arabic sentiment, which is Fi al-Ajala an Adama Wafi Ata Ani Asalama. As far as the Portuguese are concerned, they can take things very easily, don't bust the gut, because if they can hold on, not taking too many risks, the trophy for 1989 is theirs. And indeed, rather sadly, the Nigerians are going to make a substitution of the goalkeeper. That's rather unfortunate for the 16-year-old Amika Amadi. Comes rushing off. He didn't do particularly well there. He did get on into the first team in the same circumstances, I might say, because the other guy, this is Angus Ikeji, was very jittery in some of the early games, but that's really rubbing salt into the wound to take him off after a mistake like that. It's not exactly going to change the scoreline as far as the blank score sheet is concerned. And now another mistake at the back has led to João Pinto, and he's got players racing up in support. It's Amaral, and that will go. And that was gathered by Angus Ikeji. He's let one or two go in the earlier games, but again they've made a mistake, and it's Helio Pinto's offside. For the moment they've stopped, except Ikeji. That's a big, powerful kick, I might say. Perhaps that's the ploy, the reason for the substitution. Well, I'm sorry you haven't seen the Nigerians play at their best. When they really got their athletic game together and looked confident, they were real eye catchers. Here, players like Adipoju, who's just been penalised there, they've been almost non-existent. So the time ticking away now, leading by 2-0 Portugal. Their first ever World Youth Final. Indeed, they've no history at all of success in this tournament. They finished 7th when the tournament was not a championship officially, as in Japan. Now, Charity mustn't do anything daft here. That, I think, was acceptable in the circumstances, and Portugal aren't too unhappy about it. And the King conducts business. Now, Abel can get across in here, perhaps. Abel wasn't going for the return. Amaral a little bit too casual. But this is going to be a marvellous triumph for Portugal, bearing in mind the problems that young players have in that country because of the Brazilian influx. They've shown great resolution, a lot of team skill. and they've frustrated opponents and assistant coaches on the bench. So Jorge Couto here, the scorer of the second goal. Helio, who's been very, very strong in midfield. Jose, the captain. Abel, the scorer of the dramatic first goal. João Pinto running selflessly up front, 17 years of age. He's married with a child and a very mature player. This is João Pinto again. No foul by Pedro Agaba, the 14-year-old. This is Adipoju to Oridamendi. And Nwosu got a challenge, but he's completely on his own, and that's not good enough. Even the small Portuguese players are winning challenges in the air now. Felipe loses that one on the ground though. Nice turn away by Oridamendi, who hasn't had too many runs down that flank in previous matches. Oridamendi is going for this one with a bit of turn of speed though. Not for long. Jorge Couto. They just look vastly more experienced in most departments. But they're being a little bit lax. That was Amaral giving it away. This is Nwosu. Nwosu might go for it. Nwosu. Well, it would have been good to see him put one in because he's a talented player. Certainly a contender for the best goal of the tournament against Czechoslovakia. But with about 4 minutes left, they'll need one or two of those if there's going to be any more of a Nigerian story in this tournament. It's still a major achievement for them to get to this stage, bearing in mind their injuries and disciplinary problems, mostly of course of their own making. Third is about the best they finished in the championship over the years. Helio, an excellent midfield player. Abel, no chance. Now, ONN, keep going. Changes it well to Oridamendi. Now they're hitting and hoping. And against this Portuguese side, it just won't happen. It's strange how the games in Riyadh have been very well organised, very professional, but in some ways not totally exciting. And I think Olatunde Disu has given up the ghost by the look on his face. We're going to have a substitution here with Alves coming on. And coming off is Amaral, the number 18. Alves is a forward, despite the fact that he wears number 3. He did score in the early games, but got a nose and cheek injury, which seemed to give him a bit of concussion. And lost his place as a result of that. Jorge Couto letting it run, picked up by Peter Ogaba, who's young enough to play in the Under-16 Championship, which starts in June in Scotland, where Nigeria again will be one of the favourites, simply because they can put in players who defy the natural rules in many ways. Macharo with the throw. We've got on our clock just about a minute left, plus time added on for this 5th World Youth Final. Pedro Agaba back to Chinedu. Bit of space here for them. Not for long though. Got numbers up here. Charity getting it to Pedro Agaba. Cracks a smile at the crowd's reaction. I wonder if he knows that the lad who took a shot there is just a mere 14 years of age. But there's no doubt about it, the support of this tournament by the royal family here has played a big part in its success. The organisation has been absolutely first class. It's a great pity the crowds here haven't been perhaps as good as they can be, but that is the end of the story as far as this 1989 championship is concerned. There's a new name on the FIFA Coca-Cola Cup, and it's Portugal.
Pull on your riding boots, slip under your Stetson, hop onto your horse and ride along to the rodeo. For we're going to have ourselves a wild time when we start bucking the broncos, riding the bulls, roping the calves and wrestling them steers. It's a match between the Cowboys of Canada and their counterparts from the States. So saddle up and race over to Arizona for our first visit to the Rodeo Showdown and Western Festival. Tonight at 8, 7 for you folks in the UK. Don't you go and miss it now.
Distant fields all soft and green began the making of a fighting machine. Traditions from beyond our birth spread the spirit around the earth, sowed the seed to every race, 'cause we got the steel of W.G. Grace. Fighting back, England's pride. Young lions are gonna roar. Young lions are gonna roar. New blood's gonna turn us round. From the fire, new spirit found. History speaks, we hear the call. England's team must give it all. We've got the heart to win this race, 'cause we got the steel of W.G. Grace. We're fighting back, England's pride. Young lions are gonna roar. Young lions are gonna roar.
Saturday and Sunday, Eurosport brings you the red-hot excitement of Spanish football. Saturday, Real Zaragoza clash with Oviedo. Sunday, Atletico Madrid does battle with Celta. A weekend of Spanish football commencing Saturday on Eurosport.
So it's going to be the presentation of the trophy by the King to bring to an end what is a wonderful occasion, particularly for the young players of Portugal, but really for football. Jose, the number 7, or Antonio Pereira, a 19-year-old with the first of his experience, takes from King Fahd the FIFA Coca-Cola Cup. Portugal, the champions, the captain, the coach, but it's been a massive team effort, and I'm sure although the local side here gained some glory by beating them 3-0 in a qualifying game, they will acknowledge that they have thoroughly deserved it. The furling of the championship flag. It's not yet known where the next championship will be held in a couple of years' time. There are European contenders, New Zealand among them. There are in fact 13 different associations who want to stage this championship. So popular has it become. So as the Arabs might say, it's Ila al-Lekar. See you again sometime, inshallah, God willing. But from Riyadh, this is Jerry Harrison saying, thank you for joining us. Goodbye. Going to take a quick throw. The marking there isn't particularly good, and João Pinto has it. João Pinto with a chance. And that's a brilliant effort. Well, Amadi and his defence can blame themselves when Abel picked that one up. Abel with a terrific drive. Charity literally gave it away, and Abel, the fullback, really punished them. It all started from a bad throw, a bad mistake. Then Abel just swings his left foot. He's a right fullback, remember, and that is a marvellous goal to open this account in the World Youth Final. Now, Jorge Couto. It's a good run by Jorge Couto. Will he go for it? Oh, he scored! And was that an error by the young 16-year-old goalkeeper, or was it a stupendous shot? Again, picking up the loose ball from midfield. They've broken with tradition. They've scored 2 goals in a game, and it's Jorge Couto to get the second.